Okay. So what thing happens here basically? Okay. So before JDK 1.5, this looping construct was not there. All right. Now, when the JDK 1.5 came into picture, this for loop came into picture. Okay. Usually, before, if you see any of the code in the real time, most of the places you'll see this. But once in JDK 1.5, they have started using all these things. Okay. We say this as your enhanced for loop. What is this? Your enhanced for loop. Okay. Below is the enhanced for loop. Now, what happens basically? You're saying that for each integer in this particular array, that means for each integer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it is going to loop. All right. Now here I'm just saying, I'm just taking some conditions here. Instead of that, what I'm doing is I'm just saying for integer int I or int a, int in int array, loop that many times, the number of times you have the length of the array here. So ultimately, if you see this statement as well as this statement, both are same, but this is your enhanced for loop. Okay. So this loop we will use it down the line when we talk about collections also. Okay. And just remember this because this is very important because when we talk about the UI layer, okay, and we'll talk about some frameworks also, you will start understanding what is a enhanced for loop is all about, okay, because in that case we'll talk about something which will be very similar to this enhanced for loop, so which will be easier for you to understand things, okay. So whatever thing, I mean, if it is a byte array or an integer array or anything, you can basically use it in this way. Okay. And this is only used for your arrays. All right. So here we are just talking about an array here. When we talk about collections also, we can use the same here. All right. Yeah, the question is why do we need to have to declare an integer for the loop? Okay. Uh, let me remove this. For sure, you'll get a compilation issue. Now, why we are doing it here? Because you know that you're trying to access an integer array here, right? So you're trying to loop an integer here, right? So each time it loops, what it does from the bucket. So let's think this as a bucket, okay? So from this bucket, each time I'm going to access this one and push that one to here, okay? And the same one I'm printing it here, okay? Now uh, your Java is strictly your type sensitive here. Okay, if you say something like int j equals to, I cannot assign a string, let's say Jairam. Okay, I cannot assign my Jairam as a string to an integer. Okay, so in that case, I need a string itself. So the data type should match from your left to right or right to left. Okay, so as we are trying to access the integers from this bucket or from this array, we have to hold that value in a particular integer value itself. We cannot use a string here. Okay, if it would have been a different kind of array, let's say here, if I say let me take byte and let me say byte array. Okay, so let me make it as 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, and here let me say for byte, okay, b equals to, sorry, b in your byte array, the same thing I can just print here, sys out. Okay, of b. So this is the way we can basically do it, and we can loop through your any kind of array. Did that answer your question? Run as Java application. Okay, so depending on the data type what you're trying to use here, you're supposed to use that particular data type here. All right. Okay, the question might be here. I'm able to use an integer here also, right? Run as Java application. Okay, even though if I'm using an integer, I'm good here. Why? Because as we know, this is your byte short int long. It is of type kind of an integer, right? So you can use any of these things here. All right, but make sure, let's say if you say byte b1 equals to, as I said, the range of your byte is, if you use your 128, okay, the range of your byte is from -126 to 127, right? So that's what we have learned in the previous classes. Now if you see here, if I am just trying to push 128 here, I'm getting a compilation issue, right? What it says, mismatch cannot convert from integer to byte, because I know that, or this compiler knows that your 128 is beyond your byte range. Okay, byte is always your the range of your byte is -126 to +127. All right. So here, if I'm using a byte also, it doesn't matter because the integer is your more superset of your byte. All right, it has got a more wider range for that. Okay, so any questions on this, guys? You can just ping me now. All right. Let's move ahead. So that is what we saw here. For each version of the for loop, we use a kind of a collection or an array here, right? So with the help of that, we were able to iterate through the complete array here. Now there is one more looping here, that is a while loop. So let me create one more class here. New class while loop example. Okay, while loop, while to while, finish. Okay. All right. So before even getting into this, let me just tell you one more example here. How will you loop infinite time? Okay, that means I want that my loop should be infinite. I mean, it should keep looping again and again and again. Okay, so you can use the same for loop here, and you can just say double colons, semicolons. Okay, so now if I just say system.out.println of, let's say I just want to declare a value int, let's say infinite index. Okay, and I'll just say here infinite okay, so I'll just say infinite here, and plus I'll just access the now again, if suppose you are very lazy to type in here, you can just say type in and say control space. Okay, it will give you all the suggestions on what all things you can use it here. Okay, so I just enter here by accessing this one. So I have to initialize this. I'll talk about this as well. So let me make it as ++. So now let's see, once I run this program, let's see what's going to happen. Right click, run as Java application. See, it keeps on looping, and it is not even stopping here. right? So with the help of this particular construct, okay, you can basically keep looping your loop at infinite time. So there is no point, you can stop it here, right? We will talk about it, how we are going to stop this loop with a particular condition. And yes, let me just stop this now. All right. Okay. So this is the way we can loop it infinite times. And guys, I'm going to check in this file. I'll tell you what is check in and what is check out. Okay, there is some problem with the audio. All right, so let's get into the while and do while loop. What is a while and what is a do while loop? So let me just go here and let me say while loop condition. Okay. Let me take a value int I equals to 10. Okay. Now I'll take int j equals to, let's say, 0. And I'm going to say here while j is less than 10. Okay, okay, let me just take this as less than 10. Okay, just print system systrace plus j. Okay, and let me just say j plus plus, because if I do not use this, when it comes here, you have already declared a value j equals to 0, and you're saying while. Okay, so this is a while loop. This is how you're supposed to use a while loop. While j is less than 10, that means here it is always 10, and it keeps, right click, run as Java application, right? It keeps running this, running this program, because each and every time it comes here, it checks, okay, j is less than 10, because j is 0, j is less than 10. Always it comes and hits this condition while loop. So this loops keep on looping it infinite number of times. Okay, let me stop this. Now what do I need to do in order to stop this loop? I'm going to say while j is less than 10, come inside, print this, and then increment the value of j. Okay, now if I just put a systrace here, what happens here? The program comes here, show the line number, the program comes to line number 7, and then it comes to line number 9. It keeps on looping unless and until it does, once it comes here, again it goes here. It comes here, again it goes here, right? So this is what your while loop is. And what condition it checks? If inside the while condition, this condition is true, then only it comes here and prints some information here. Okay, now here my condition is while j is less than 10, come inside this and then increment the value of j. And you have already seen that if I'm not using this, if I'm just commenting this out, I'm going to an infinite loop here, okay, which I do not need that. I want that when the value of j is less than 10, okay, then only keep looping. When the moment it is 10, okay, so just come out. So if I run this, run as Java application, if you can see, it has only printed from 0 to 9. It is not even printed 10 also, okay, because each and every time it comes here, it increments the value of j. So let me just run this as in a debug mode, debug as Java application. Say yes, remember my decision, yes. Okay. All right. So let me just debug this. Let me increase the length here. So it's keep saying F6, right? So it comes here, the value of j, if you see the variables here. Okay, so the value of j is your 0. Put this outlet here. You can keep shuffling all these views, okay? So if you can see the value of j, it keeps on. Now j is plus j plus plus. Now the value of j is 1. Now again it comes to the while loop, because I keep pressing F6, okay? Now F6 is your nothing but your where is your F6? Step over, okay? So it keeps on going to the next line, next line, next line. So I keep on pressing this value keeps on increasing, okay? So the moment it checks, let's keep doing this, and now the value of, okay, it will come here still. Now the value of j is 10. Now it has come out of the loop, okay? So this is your while loop. With the help of that, you can check for some condition. If the condition is satisfying, you keep looping this one, otherwise it goes out of the loop, okay? Now question is, at what point of time will you use your while loop, and what point of time you will be using your for loop, okay? Now in for loop, you are pretty sure you know the length of the array, okay? And you are looping it here using what? I mean the length of the length of this particular index length, okay? So with the help of this, you are basically looping, but still you can do the same functionality what you have done it using a while loop. I can even achieve using my for loop, but I have to do some tweaks, okay? Let's not go into that right now, but still there is a possibility for you can do that as well. All right, so when you know you know that you're accessing an array, okay, and you know the fixed length, and you know what is the length right now, you loop it very well, okay? Now when you use a while loop, you do not know what is the length, and you are actually dependent on a particular condition, okay? In that case, you will very well go with a while loop, okay? And let's say for example in this case, we'll see down the line also a lot of other examples. This is just your starting point to understand what is a while loop. All right, we'll see a lot of other examples down the line to understand how, at what point of time you'll use a while loop, and what point of time you'll use a for loop, and what not, okay? So this is all about your while loop. Let me just comment this out. There is one more, that is your do while, okay? And the syntax is do this, okay, do something inside this while the condition is true, okay? Now let's just try to execute this one right now. Let's say do okay, let me just take one more value here, int k equals to 0. K less than 10, okay? So here I just want to print the same thing here, says trace and plus k, and same k plus plus, okay? Now let's see the difference between these two. Sys trace. So here what's happening, it is first checking for a condition. If the condition is true, then only it comes inside. So let's first show you the output of this. Let me use print so that I can print everything in a single line itself, and use my only, I don't even need all these things. I'll just use a space here, okay? This one, this. So let me run this, and then we'll discuss about this. Run as Java application, right? So here what I'm doing basically is okay, what is this? Print Okay. So here, if you can see, the output is both the same, right? And first it is doing some condition here, okay, and it is incrementing here, and after that you are having a condition here, right? Now ultimately both the things are same. The only thing is you are using a do while here, okay. First do while, what it does, it prints and then it checks for the condition, okay, and if the condition is not true, it won't even go to the do condition, okay. Just to enhance this one, while k is still less than 10, 9, okay. So run as Java application, and if you can see here, the first time it came here, okay, it printed this, incremented this, and then it checked on the condition, right? Unless until k is less than 9. The moment the k is 9, all right, it is not even coming to this condition, okay. So more or the less you can achieve the same thing using a while loop or a do while loop, but when you use a do while loop, you are making sure that you want to print something first and then check for that condition, okay. So there are three kind of loops here: for loop, while loop, or a do while loop, okay. Most of the time in real time you will use your while loop or a do while loop, sorry, while loop or your for loop here, okay. And in the for loop again you will be using your enhanced for loop, okay. Any questions guys here? No questions? All right. So I think we won't be having much time today, so let me do one thing. Let me start checking in this file, and I'll tell you right now how to check out the file and how to work on these examples, okay. Now let me just go to my Java perspective. Right click. What I did is I have got some repository which I'll tell you what to do. I'll just right click on this team commit, okay. So I have done changes in a lot of files, so let me choose all these files and just say updates, commit and push. Okay. All right. It says cannot open GIT receive pack. Looks like there is some problem here. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll just check in the file later. Let me just show you how to check out this particular module. Run the background. All right. Now, what you have to do is, the very first thing is you have to have the GIT repository in your own machine, okay. For that reason, what you have to do is you just need to go to your Windows, open perspective, others, and just to click on your GIT, right. So I'll just ping you one link here. Let's say for example, let me go here and copy this and keep it somewhere in my desktop, okay. Now just think that I have already checked in this file, which I have done it. I've got a couple of files there, so let me just delete this, okay, and go to my GIT. I'll just do a fresh checkout, delete repository, delete. Okay. Now my Eclipse is a pretty new Eclipse, nothing is there right now. So what am I going to do is there is a repository in the internet, okay. So what you guys need to do is just need to copy this. I'll just send you this particular URL. Let me ping you right now. Control V, enter, right? So what you do, this just copy that, the one which I pinged to everyone. Come to your Eclipse and right click on this GID repository. Okay, so how do you open this GID repository? Windows, open perspective, others, GID. Okay, so when you open this, on the left hand side, just right click on this and just say paste, or you can just say Control V also. So the moment you paste it, you get this particular pop-up wherein you see all this informations already present there. Okay, so for you don't have to use your username and password. For me, I need to use it. You just say next. It's taking a time. Incorrect URL. It's correct. Oh, internet nahi. Hello.
H2K Infosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing, and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2K Infosys, how we are different from our competitors. 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus, one-time fee and lifetime access to classes, access to recorded sessions of live classes. H2K Infosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For a free demo class, visit us at h2kinfosys.com.